I'm Shashi Menon, and I'm the founder and CEO of UNXD, and we are bringing luxury and culture to the metaverse. Now, the worlds of luxury and crypto have not traditionally overlapped, and that's kind of for good reason if you think about the origins of the crypto movement as somewhat of an anti-establishment movement, and luxury firmly representing the establishment. But from our end, we really saw that intersection as inevitable. And our team comes from a background in both crypto and in luxury. We first got exposure to crypto in 2015 when we started trading altcoins, but our background in luxury is actually much longer. In 2009, I founded a company called Nervora, which has been a very strategic partner of a company called Condé Nast since our inception. And Condé Nast is one of the world's most celebrated premium media companies and the parent of brands like Vogue, Vanity Fair, GQ, and Wired. In 2012, we launched Condé Nast's first publication in the Middle East, which was a digital fashion publication. And in 2016, actually became the youngest team to ever launch an edition of Vogue when we launched Vogue Arabia, which was actually the first ever digital first launch of Vogue. And since then, we spent the last 5 to 6 years growing Vogue Arabia into one of the largest editions of Vogue globally. And along the way, we've launched Vogue Men, which is a men's edition, as well as Vogue Living, which is an art and design edition, as well as Wired, which we launched in 2019. So very comprehensively, we've been operating at the intersection of luxury, technology, and culture for a long time. And for us, I think culture is really the defining word. As a company, we actually consider ourselves to be creators and curators of culture first, that just so happens to be enabled by technology, as opposed to being a tech company in search of culture. And this is really driven by the years that we've spent as creators and curators of culture ourselves, and our appreciation of culture, as well as our footprint in luxury, just comes from being deeply embedded in that world for such a long time. And so we started moving into the direction of NFTs last spring. And last autumn, we architected and launched Dolce & Gabbana's debut NFT collection, which was a collection called Collezione Genesi, which was a historic 9-piece museum-grade collection of NFTs featuring both digital and bespoke physical items. And those 9 items were auctioned. They were all one-of-ones, and they generated nearly $6 million on auction at exchange rates as of the end of September last year, making it the most valuable collection of fashion NFTs ever released. And we were very fortunate to have participation from some of the largest NFT collectors in the world, including Pranksy, Seed Phrase, and a DAO called Red DAO, which was actually specifically formed to participate in our launch collection. And in the process, I think we brought a lot of attention to the idea of fashion and luxury NFTs, and then we dove deeper. And we were convinced that there was a bigger opportunity. So we actually spent the following 6 months partnering with other brands and architecting our next drop in the space. And about 3 months ago, that drop happened. And it was a larger community called DG Family, which generated about 7,800 ETH in sales thus far, or about 4 times the size of the first drop. And with DG Family, which is this community that we've created with Dolce & Gabbana, I think we've created what we believe to be the future of the luxury industry, which is a powerful utility framework paired with a high-value, self-selecting community. And here's just an example. Here's just an example of what some of those NFTs actually look like, which are incredibly high quality, photorealistic, visually rich assets that we've created with the UNXD studio, which is our in-house studio that really specializes in photorealistic work. On the left, you see a dress which was called Dress from a Dream. This was paired with a physical dress, and this was purchased by Pranksy. And on the right, you see a digital-only jacket, which is one of 3 digital-only jackets that we created in that first collection called the Impossible Jacket. And this piece sold for about $300,000 with no physical version that exists. And there are a few reasons why, in particular, our NFTs have succeeded so far. The first is provenance, and we're working today with some of the world's greatest designers to bring their creativity to the blockchain. The second is craftsmanship, and both the digital and physical works that we've created really are impeccable. And the process that we've created for creating these photorealistic digital pieces is almost like our own digital couture process that we've pioneered. And so we're able to create, using different tools, the same type of process that these incredible designers create with in the real world. The third piece is storytelling. And coming from a background as storytellers and media owners ourselves, I think we really spend an incredible amount of time focused on creating narrative. And so much about fashion and the luxury industry is creating this fantastical universe and drawing people into that fantasy. So we spend a tremendous amount of time really architecting the storyline and the story arc of what we create. The fourth piece is community, and we spent a lot of time connecting with a community of crypto natives. In fact, about 99% of the people that have participated in the drops that we are doing are crypto natives, as opposed to traditional consumers of luxury that are entering crypto for the first time. And the last piece, which is probably the most important, is utility. And our utility framework really sits at the heart of everything that we do. And our approach to utility is to create utility across three different layers: digital, physical, and experiential. And the experiential side exists both in the metaverse and in the real world. And what you see on screen here is this incredible dinner that we hosted with Dolce & Gabbana in Venice last August when we launched our collection. And this was hosted in one of the most iconic locations in Venice, which is in St. Mark's Square, and one of the most prestigious locations there, which is the Doge Palace, or the Palazzo Ducale. The next collection that we are launching is something that we've spent about 8 months creating. We started working on this late last year, which is a collection from an incredible watchmaker named Jacob & Co. And it's a collection that we are calling Astronomia Metaverso. And this is what it looks like. And these are actually photographs for the bespoke physical pieces that are part of that collection. These have never been seen before, so they're being seen now for the very first time. And the overall collection consists of 8 different designs, 5 of which are attached to bespoke one-of-one physical items that have been personally designed by the founder, Jacob himself, with us. And these are incredible pieces of both art and technology. And we think that they'll be in great demand. This launch will actually happen in the not too distant future. So these are physical photographs, but you can see here a 100% digital render, which again was done by the UNXD studio. And you can just get a sense for how photorealistic these pieces are. One of the most complicated things when creating hard assets that have gems is actually rendering white diamonds, which are incredibly complicated to render in a way that feels photorealistic. This is actually a short video to show you what the NFTs look like. And again, this is something that was 100% rendered on a computer, but is almost a perfect one-to-one representation of what the corresponding physical piece looks like for this specific watch. And this is a watch called the Mars watch from the Astronomia Metaverso collection. This is the full collection. So there are 5 physical pieces. Each one of these is a one-of-one, which has been created once and will never be created again. And then there are 3 digital-only designs that have 4 different colorways that will be sold as additions. Now, overall, our business model is what we like to call full stack, and we operate end-to-end with our partners, building alongside them from concept to creation to community to communication to actually the drop itself. And it's a very, very high-touch approach, but one that really we believe that the luxury industry demands. And it scales because our belief is that we like to do fewer things, but much, much bigger. In addition to Dolce & Gabbana and Jacob & Co., we are also working with a handful of other luxury brands. And so the launch that will follow Jacob & Co. is from one of the Middle East's most celebrated designers, a couture designer named Elie Saab, who is a favorite of celebrities on the red carpet. And we debuted this collection during his Paris couture runway show just a few weeks ago. And there are 5 different physical pieces linked to that collection, as well as some digital only pieces. The first look that went down the runway was one of the physical pieces from our collection. And on the left of the screen, you can see what the physical piece looks like. And on the right, you can see the incredible detail that's gone into the digital rendering, where each one of the feathers, which were applied by hand in person, was also designed by hand digitally to really reflect this feeling of bespoke craftsmanship. Then another designer that we're working with that we will launch later this year, early next year, is by far the most celebrated designer from China, and the only recognized couture designer from China. It's a designer named Guo Pei, and she designs incredible works of sculptural architecture, as you can see here on screen. She became quite famous in 2015 when she designed a dress that Rihanna wore during the Met Ball, which you can see on the right, which is one of the most memed dresses of that specific year. But she's been designing for decades, and the collection that we're working on with her, by the time it's released, will have been in production for a year. For both of these brands and for other brands that we're working with, really we spend an incredible amount of time creating these collections, and they are formed around the same utility framework of digital, physical, and experiential utility. And one other thing that we do is to create these cultural tentpole moments to bring these collections to life in the metaverse. So in March of this year, we partnered with the Decentraland Foundation to create the inaugural Metaverse Fashion Week, which took place in Decentraland and hosted about 70 different brands, creating these beautiful collections and activations within the Decentraland platform. And what you see on screen here is the runway show from Dolce & Gabbana, which featured an entirely bespoke collection of Metaverse wearables that was purpose-built for this specific event, and then was airdropped to the DG family NFT holders just about a month ago. And this is something that will be done annually. The Metaverse Fashion Week will take place in March of next year, and really is part of our overall goal of bringing more attention to what digital fashion looks like, and just the idea of this real world metaverse crossover. And just to conclude, I guess I'll note that we see an incredibly bright future for the luxury industry in the metaverse, really driven by the important role that fashion and luxury plays in identity in the real world. But in the metaverse, we believe that fashion is going to play an outsized role in identity. And we, from our end, are poised to really lean into that. So thank you all for your time. Really happy to be here, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.